some technical difficulties. I believe you can hear me now. If you can, let me know. I hope some people hop on here in a few minutes. But in any case, I wanted to talk about my very good friend, HENNIE PLEISIS, who made this knife here, which is called the GOSTFIN. And this knife is a knife that's very near and dear to my heart. It was made by a very close friend of mine named HENNIE PLEISIS. And let me show you who he is, at least so you can find out who he is. So this is his, this is where you can find and check out all of his knives. He just started a brand new website at bullet2blade.com. You can check him out there. It's his brand new website. And he is a South African knife maker. And he made this knife called the GOSTFIN. And I want to talk about this knife for a little bit. This is one of his signature model knives that he makes. You could probably see it on his website. And again, it's called the GOSTFIN. This one is has red carbon fiber scales. It's got a shield on it with the Filipino flag on it. I'm a Filipino. All titanium liners with a titanium pocket clip. And the action is just spectacular. And this is not the knife that I had intended to bring out. The knife that I wanted to bring out is actually right here. Same model, souped up, as you guys can see. Same exact model. This one is basically a full dress piece, as you guys can see. Every aspect of this knife has some art on it. Whoever hopped on, if you could just tell me if you can hear me, I really would appreciate it. I don't want to think I'm wasting my time doing this video. But anyway, this is the GOSTFIN. Same knife as you see here, but souped up. This one is an all RWL steel. RWL 34 steel. This one is in Damascus. So let me describe what you're seeing here. What you have here is a full dress GOSTFIN with full carbon fiber scales. We have the Damascus bolsters, right? Damascus pocket clip. Something really nice on the back, again, with the rope file work. And it also has, I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's my name personalized on the back spacer. Omar, O-M-A-R. And the engraving is done by his wife, Ilse Duplessis. They're a team. And the engraving done on this is not even, I'm going to say it's not even like 1/110 of what that woman can do with the engraving. It is really, really wild. You need to check out HENNIE PLEISIS Instagram, and also his wife's Instagram if you want to check out some of the wild engraving this lady does. It's absolutely insane. They've made a couple of knives for me with the engraving on it, and I've actually done that video. You could check those videos out on my channel as well. But yeah, so she did the engraving on it. We've got rope file work. That's all done by hand, by the way. Damascus bolsters, Damascus pocket clip with the Damascus blade. What's interesting about this Damascus blade is you can actually feel the Damascus on this one. I've never had that before. I don't know what kind of Damascus that is, but it's very different than what I'm used to seeing on Damascus blades. But in any case, it looks absolutely fantastic. This is a gigantic knife, by the way. I wanted to let you know. It's about a 3.6-inch blade. I'm going to show you some size comparisons here in a quick minute. This video is just an overview of this knife, so you guys can get a look at it, because I just got this in the mail yesterday, and I was like real excited to get it. So let me do some size comparisons so you guys can see the size of it. And I'm going to put it up against some knives you guys know. I don't have very many So the first one is the paramilitary. This is a sprint run carbon fiber paramilitary in M4 steel. So as you can see, it's almost the same size as the paramilitary knife, right? And here it is up against the ZT. I can't remember the name of this one. Yeah, 0545 in blue carbon fiber. So it's kind of a smaller knife. If you guys could tell me if you can hear me, I really would appreciate it. Because somebody was complaining they couldn't hear me at all. So anyway, yeah, this is up against the ZT 545 knife. All right, and finally, here it is up against the Spyderco Techno with like the green bolsters on it. This is actually an old knife. They still make this knife. You can still order it. It's a pretty cool knife. It's one of those change pocket knives. You can actually fit this knife in your change pocket. So it's a small knife, and put it up against that one. And to finalize the size comparison so you guys can get an idea, we do small, medium, large. Now, it's kind of hard to tell, but let me kind of push this out a little bit. Problem is that everything's at an angle, so it's kind of hard for me to do it. I'm not shooting this video from up, so you can't really see, but you can definitely see the large, medium, and small theme. So you guys can see that. So in any case, back to the knife. So I have known HENNIE du Plessis for about 7 years. I bought one of his very first customs, and we kind of just... It's very rare that this will happen in the knife world, where you come in contact with the knife maker and you actually become very close friends with the guy that's making the knife. And in my case, I got lucky. That's what happened. And as a result, I own like 6 of his knives. I'm going to do a separate video on that, by the way, because he is one of the very few knife makers. He doesn't really, I mean, he's got signature models, but he doesn't really have like just one model. Like, for example, if you guys are familiar with Trevor Burger Knives, he has the Lex K and the EXK, which is just one model knife where he takes the knife just like this and he slaps on different materials on it, but it's always the same exact knife. HENNIE is a very different type of knife maker. He will actually create a model knife from scratch. From scratch. When I mean an entirely different model knife, I mean that the knife is probably not one you're going to see ever again. It's just a one model, maybe a one-time shot deal that he ever makes the knife, and you'll never see it again. More than likely, probably because it's probably time-consuming, or maybe he doesn't really like it, or maybe people aren't responding to that blade, to that knife, or whatever the situation might be. In any case, he's a constant experimenter, and I guess what I'm trying to say is he is just a true knife artist, and he goes all out because he gets bored. You've got to check out his website, though, because he's got so many different knives on there, so many different names. I'm sure he's probably forgot a lot of them, but he does absolute exquisite work every time. Yeah, so, and he very rarely makes large knives. That's the other thing I wanted to say. He made, these are the only 2 GOSTFINs that he ever made that are this size, 3.6-inch blades. He's never done them in this size before, but because I'm a friend of his and I requested it, he said, sure, I'll make them in that size, and basically that's what we have here. And that's what you're talking about when you're getting a custom knife. Now, just because I'm good friends with HENNIE du Plessis does not mean you're not going to get that service from him or any other knife maker. That's why you go custom, because you want something that's made special just for you. And, you know, it's sort of like an attractive, seductive thing. for an individual to get something made for them in a knife. It's just a lot of fun. And yeah, it costs a ton of money. Unfortunately, the prices for custom knife making are just going to get jacked up. So if you haven't gotten onto that bandwagon, you know, it's going to be more and more difficult for many more people to hop on just because of the tariffs and the shipping. The shipping is just getting jacked up, and it's causing the prices of the knives to go way, way up. You know, so it is what it is. It is what it is. But funny thing, once you get into custom knife making, it's almost like you don't really care what you paid for a knife. You're just going to want to get one. It's just something that happens. But the point of custom knives is that you're buying the maker. You're buying his art because you're getting a knife with materials that you've selected and he's selected. And once the knife is made, it's pretty much custom. In other words, you discuss the materials, you discuss what you want on the blade, you discuss what you want on the knife, and that knife has now become a part of your collection, and that's why you go custom. Yeah. So this is just a quick overview of what I got yesterday, which is, you know, the GOSTFIN. Again, it's only one of the few model knives that HENNIE does. And again, you know, you can find his work on HENNIE PLEISIS HDP Custom Knives, HENNIE PLEISIS Bullet to Blade, right there. You can also check out his wife's engraving website. You can check her out at Ilzy. Actually, when you pull up HENNIE PLEISIS Knives, I believe he's got a link to his wife's Instagram. So, because those two are kind of connected together. He makes the knife and she does the engraving. They are a team. Oops. And, you know, it's just kind of one of the nice things about when you're working as a team. So, because, you know, the work is twice as good. So, yeah. This knife is actually a tactical knife, if you want to think about it. The shape of the knife, the way it feels in your hand. He does have sort of aggressive jimping on the top, on both of them, actually. This is sort of like his signature. I notice his signature jimping. Very spread far apart, unlike a lot of the custom knife maker, not custom, but production knives, where the jimping is not as far apart. But, you know, again, his jimping is more for, like, I guess, art purposes, but it does work. It is very aggressive, and it will allow you that good grip that you want on it. At the same time, if you notice, he does not have jimping on the blade itself, but he does have this sort of smooth indentation to put your thumb, and that's why it's a tactical blade, right? So if you guys can take a look, and actually let me show it to you on here, because it's the same model. But if you look at the way that the knife has been built, your hand, the palm of your hand fits comfortably here, and then the rest of your hand just kind of sits comfortably, and then your thumb rests on top, right? And then you've got this sort of pointy part on the knife. Believe it or not, you could probably use that part of the knife as sort of like a coupoton or a URA in case you can't get the knife open. I mean, it's the tactical piece, right? But technically can also be used as an ADC carry because the blade shape is actually a drop point blade. You know, if it were a, if this were had a self-defense shape, sort of like the Warncliffe style blade, which I don't have here, it would be a true self-defense knife. But I mean, it's still self-defense regardless. I mean, the way, at least the shape of the handle, there's no hot spots on the with the pocket clip, which is also Damascus. If you look closer too, the screws are colored on it. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, the screws are kind of colored on here. So there's my name on the back of the knife. Right there. On the inside is his wife's name and his name, which I kind of like. You know, you want to know who made the knife and who contributed into making the piece. The action is really good on this one. Flips like a dream. It doesn't fall shut, but it does have nice action. That was another thing I wanted to talk about. Custom knife makers, sometimes the action on the knife will be different each and every time. Case in point, let me show you the other knife. As you can see, right, this one, the action isn't fall shut, but it is smooth, right? On this one, it falls shut. There's sort of controversy about action with custom knife makers. Some custom knife makers don't believe that a knife should fall shut. Others don't have a problem with it. Probably the factor in a knife falling shut, why it matters, why it doesn't matter. Yeah. Probably because as long as there's no blade play, it's kind of like, who cares? But there's two different schools of thought in it. When you're making a knife, the ball bearings in the knife are what make the action kind of smooth. And if it is, there's a theory, who knows who's right, who doesn't know who's right. Every custom knife maker has a different opinion on it. Some say it's okay to fall shut. Others say it's not okay to fall shut. But the theory is this: as long as there's no blade play, like on this knife, on both these knives there is no blade play. But the question that arises with the action, right? There's no blade play on either one of these. But the question that arises with knives that fall shut versus knives that do not fall shut, over time, okay, over time, a knife that does not fall shut, that has like a little bit of give to it, more than likely the action will not change, right? It's going to stay the way it is, versus knives that fall shut. And this is just the theory. I don't know who, and probably my opinion, but knives that fall shut, yes, as long as there's no blade play, it's okay. But eventually, because it's at fall shut status, right? Is there going to be blade play later on? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, I've had this knife, and I've actually used the shit out of this knife. Opening boxes and doing everyday tasks. I actually use this one because it's a workhorse. This is not like sitting in a case. I'm actually using it. I do wipe the hell out of it after I'm done. But this knife has been used quite well, and it's opened dozens of boxes, and it's never like given any way. So I don't know, that depends on who's making the knife and how good they are at executing the knife itself, as far as making sure that it's in perfect working order. Because, you know, every aspect of a custom knife, again, you're buying the maker. There are some knife makers, custom knife makers in South Africa, who pride themselves on creating and putting the materials together on a knife, so that, obviously, clearly you can see that these are two different materials, right? This is Damascus and this is carbon fiber. And a lot of South African knife makers pride themselves on being able to run your fingers across the two materials and not being able to feel the difference, that there's two different materials on here. With HENNIE du Plessis, you do feel it. You know, and I believe that is HENNIE du Plessis style, right? There's always going to be a give and a take with every knife maker. That's not to say that he can't do that on a custom knife. He probably can. He just feels that he values the idea of, you know, maybe creating a new model from scratch versus spending time, you know, making sure that the two pieces of material are super smooth so that when you run your finger across it, you can't tell the difference between this material and that material. It's not important to him, is what I'm saying. And again, it goes back to me saying that you're buying the maker. And because I'm a collector and I have experienced that with other knife makers, it doesn't bother me that that's not on this knife. You know what I mean? Because he does create a solid knife no matter what. And I mean, goddamn, the action on this thing is just absolutely beautiful. He's really, really put a lot of work into it. And, you know, when you look close at how he executes it, you almost can't believe that it's made completely by hand. And he works very fast. If you order a knife and he doesn't have a lot of custom orders, you can probably get your knife probably within a month, averagely about 6 weeks from the time that, and it also depends on how long it takes for you to discuss what's going to be on the knife. In this case, I didn't discuss in detail how I wanted the file work done on it. He chose this sort of rope feature, which I like, because if you notice when I move the knife left and right, it's almost like this rope has movement in it. You know, like it's kind of moving a little bit. It's pretty fantastic. So I think that the Damascus looks fantastic on this piece. The liners are all blue. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. I'm really happy to have it in my collection. Actually happy to have both of these. And I like how both knives have just their own personality. This one obviously looks like a workhorse. You can see that the blade on this one is not as flashy as it is on the custom full dress piece. I mean, this one's even got, this is what I liked too when I first saw it, because I'd never seen this on a knife. This knife's got like a kind of like this black wash marking on it, like it's got dirt all over it. I like that. I mean, you know, some people may not like it. I love it. You know, it looks like it's, you know, built for you to use every day. I don't know if that's something that HENNIE decided that that's what he wanted. I don't know. But if he intended it to have that or whatever, it just looks good. It looks good on this one. The red carbon fiber that he chose on it is pretty fantastic. I mean, even though this is not a full dress piece, you can obviously tell that it is a custom. Because, I mean, you're not going to go to Spyderco or ZT and expect to see a knife like this up on a website. You know what I mean? In other words, if you wanted something that was custom-like, you'd have to go for a sprint run, like this knife here, which is the Spyderco Paramilitary with the all-carbon fiber scales. And this is usually what a lot of custom collectors go for when they want to get a production knife that they want to abuse and use. You know, they'll just go for the sprint run because, you know, the regular knife is usually G10, and to custom knife makers, G10, or custom knife collectors, G10 is just filler material. It's just where we're at. It doesn't mean that we're knife snobs. It just means that we've moved on from getting good, solid, working knives into the world of customs. And that's pretty much what happens to you. You experience better. You know what I mean? You just do. And, you know, if you ever want to go custom or you're thinking about going custom, you know, check out HENNIE du Plessis. He can work with you. Yes, custom knives are expensive, but, you know, he's a very, very, really, really sweet guy, really nice guy. He's got, he loves to talk with customers. He's coming into his own, probably one of the more approachable knife makers out there. And he is a very good friend of mine. So if you're considering going custom, go with HENNIE to PLEISIS. And if you catch him on Instagram and you say, hey, I saw the GOSTFIN that you made for Omar, I'm kind of interested in getting a custom knife. What can you do for me? You can discuss pricing with him. You can discuss materials, what you want on the knife. Even if you don't know anything about, like, you know, what materials he's got or anything about materials, he'll work with you. And, you know, it's probably going to be a challenge for HENNIE to work with someone that doesn't know anything about custom knife making. But I will guarantee you, once you experience a custom from HENNIE to PLEISIS, you probably will never go back to just getting a Spyderco or getting a ZT or whatever. Just at least check it out. See what you think. I mean, I'm going to let you know right now, this much you need to understand, okay? Whatever you pay for a production knife, expect to pay at least 3 times that for a custom. Basic. In fact, custom knives can run you anywhere from a low base price of about $400, okay? That's a lot of money. I know it's a lot of money, $400 going all the way up to, believe it or not, sometimes $10,000, $11,000, $12,000. It happens, right? But averagely, roughly, usually like right around $400 to possibly, I'm going to say at this point in time, with tariff prices and shipping prices, all the way up to like $1,400 or even $1,500 for a custom. At least one like this. So be prepared to pay, but you don't have to go very far, all right, to get a really good custom from HENNIE. This one I got for under $1,000, just so I can kind of calm you guys down a little bit. But you're going to want to be ready to accept that kind of pricing. So talk it out with them. Tell them what you like. Obviously, whatever it is that you like is going to be based off of whatever production knives you have or whatever material knowledge you have that you've seen on other productions. You're probably going to want to go that route, which is fine. But once you get the knife, you know, you're probably going to wind up, you know, jacking it up a bit, you know, because, you know, your knowledge isn't quite as enhanced. And as time goes by and you begin to realize, you know what, I do like customs, you'll bump up a level with each knife. And I'm going to be honest with you, going with HENNIE versus any other South African knife maker, you can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. I'm not saying that just because he's a really close friend of mine. So anyway, this video has run long. Again, I just kind of wanted to celebrate this knife because I haven't gotten a custom knife in so long. And this one, I just, you know, I'm going to enjoy this one today. In fact, I'm going to be carrying it today. It's going to be a lot of fun just to have this, in my pocket. So this is Omar, your South African knife guy. Until next time when I purchase my next custom. I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, it's kind of dreary here in Washington. Enjoy the holidays. You know, Thanksgiving's coming up. So enjoy your family, enjoy your holidays. Give yourself an early Christmas treat and get yourself a custom piece from HENNIE to PLEISIS. Check out his website at Bullet to Blade. It's a brand new website. It just came out today. Check him out on Instagram at Bullet to Blade. And say hello to him if you come in contact with him. Every once in a while you can catch him on Instagram. You know, he'll talk with customers. He's there. So check him out. And tell them I said hi, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.